we have ourselves a 2014 Sierra, and customer concern is a no crank. And as you can see on the dash, we've got a lot of messages: service power steering, 4-wheel drive. We do have a check engine light there. We got ABS light, track light, but we have no communication. On our pre-scan here, we can see that 6 and 14, no module was communicating at all. And the telematics has some CAN bus fault codes. HVAC, not important. Radio, I don't think this one was important either. No. We just have no comm with nothing on 6 and 14. I wish I could figure out how to do something really creative with videos where I can do like interactive videos where I could say, you know, how would we go about checking this? Where would you start? And then give you different options to choose from about where you would start from, and then work through the videos that way in your own thoughts, kind of like how you would approach and come to a conclusion or not. And I think that would be really cool. I just don't know how I would be able to get that to work through YouTube. I know there's interactive movies and things like that where you're like, as you're watching the movie, you can pick a scenario and the movie will play out in that choice, and you can make other choices down the line and stuff. That would be really cool, I think. And feel free to make fun of my hat in the comments down there. My head's bald, I'm getting old, and that is really starting to bother me nowadays. But for me, I'm going to start with taking the battery cable loose. It looks pretty bad, it's pretty crusty looking, but we're going to take that loose to kill power to the truck. Why? Because I'm going to do some ohm checks on the DLC, and I don't want any stray voltage on the CAN lines in case they are awake, communicating, doing something. So I don't want that. And then we're going to use my ohm meter and we're going to check it. So let's go see what our DLC connection looks like. See if we've got a good 60 ohm reading to it. So we got the ohm meter here, and we're just going to go across pins 6 and 14. Let's see what kind of resistance we've got. And as you can see there, we've got 120 ohms. So we already know we've got an open circuit in the CAN line. This could either be the terminating resistor in the engine control module or on the frame rail. I think's where the other one is. They just got a little terminating resistor in the frame rail harness. I could be wrong. We're gonna have to look up a diagram. But something else I also like to do to check is I'll go from one of my 6 and 14 pins, either one of them, and then go to either pin 4 or 5, which is a ground, and check for resistance to ground. And I just like to make sure I don't have like some low resistance to ground. This is like almost 13,000 ohms, so that is plenty okay. I'm not concerned about that at all. So we need to see where our CAN lines run from here and which terminating resistor we're reading. Now I do find it a little odd. I'm looking here at the wiring diagram. I've got one terminating resistor in the ECM, which GM pretty much, that's standard on GM. And then there is the one in the harness at the back of the truck, the terminating resistor at the back of the truck. But there's several modules from the DLC to each one, so I'm kind of confused as to why I have an open circuit obviously, because I don't have 60 ohms, but I'm not talking to any of these other modules. I couldn't communicate with any module on 6 and 14, which is a little strange. Usually you would still be able to read, you know, like the power steering module, if we can't communicate past, say, the one side of getting a little tongue tied here. If we can't communicate with like one side of the DLC, say the engine side, we can't talk to none of that, like the TCM or the engine control module or the transfer case control module. This is 4-wheel drive. It's got the switch and everything. So if we can't talk to none of that stuff, we should be able to talk to some stuff on the other side, because the wires are good to at least one of the terminating resistors. So it's kind of strange that I didn't have communication with the BCM or the power steering module or the EBCM. So that's kind of odd. But let's see if we can split this network somewhere and just verify which resistor we're actually seeing with our meter. So going by our diagram here, we're at the DLC. I'm suspecting that we're seeing this resistor. So I want to try to break the network going to that. And I like to pick just easy places. And in this case, the BCM is pretty easy. There's two connectors where you've got your data lines passing in and back out of the BCM. So we can just pick either one of those and unplug it, and that will separate us from that 120 ohm resistor. And I like picking the BCM because it's right there, and you can actually see the can lines right there, this white and blue. This is going to be the X6 connector. So if I unplug that, we still actually have our 120. So this actually has to be the ECM side. Let's plug this back up. Okay, so we didn't affect that at all. So let me answer the phone. Okay, back to this. So we're apparently not seeing this resistor. We're seeing this resistor, and to confirm that, we could disconnect like this X115 connector. That's a pretty easy one to get to. So you can see we still got 120 right there. X115 is this connector, and everything's like real greasy up here. It's like something sprayed oil everywhere in this thing. But let's get this separated. If I can get my fingers and everything working. There we go. Yeah, get that separated. Let's see what we got. 7,000 ohms. So yes, we actually have data lines to the ECM. That's real surprising, because why could we not talk to it? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Well, it kind of does, because what if our data line was broke between the DLC? So the DLC, let's say it's broke between the ECM and the BCM, somewhere through here. Well, then this BCM might not actually turn on the ignition. Like when you turn this on, which I've got the battery unhooked, but when you turn this on, we may not actually be turning something on that goes to the ECM. We did see we had the check engine light there, but we could be missing some kind of ignition turn on or something from the BCM out there. So I'm really kind of thinking I might focus between the DLC and the BCM to see if we've got a good connection, good circuit there. So that's kind of where I'm thinking right now. All right, so as just a quick check, I've still got my meter here. We're going to do continuity, so we've got the beeper going, and we're just going to go from pin 6 on the DLC, which is the dark blue wire. We're going to go to the connector 6, X6 on the BCM, because this one should be going out to the rear terminating resistor. We're going to see if we got continuity to this side of it, and we do. You can hear the beeper going. So let's go over to the other pin 14 and white, and we still got continuity. So what's our ohm readings here? 0.7 on 14 and 0.8 on 6. So that actually does prove we've got good circuits from here to the BCM and back out of the BCM. Now I'm really kind of thinking maybe this is a scan tool issue. Maybe the scan tool isn't reading the network good because the resistance values is maybe a little noisy or something like that. So I'm going to actually hook the battery back up, and we're going to get a scope out on this thing and see what the network actually looks like. So yeah, looking here at the waveform, that's a very, very dirty signal. So that kind of makes sense as to why the scan tool is not really communicating with anything. Let me try to see if I may have a resistor in my van. We may can put another 120 ohm resistor across this and possibly clean some of this up. I don't know for sure, but we can give it a try. I was able to find a little resistor here. This is just another 120 ohm resistor, and I'm just using my meter leads with some alligator clips. Got them back probed in here to our 6 and 14 test leads, and let's attach this to this and see if that does anything with the signal. It kind of made it a little better. Let me unhook it again. Yeah, it definitely takes just a tiny bit of ringing out. So let's leave that like that. So now we've got 60 ohms. We know we've got good lines to the BCM. We know we've got lines out to the ECM. Let's see if it makes any difference here. So we'll key off, key back on. Hey, there we go. Oh, that's a fix. Let's ship it. We'll just leave a resistor in there. Now, let's see. We do have power steering, but it says steering reduced, and something sounds pretty rough on this truck. I don't know if y'all hear that or not, but something doesn't sound too good. Sounds like back at the transmission. That's not good. Let's cut this off. So this guy might be dealing with more than one issue here. Well, now let's see if we can track down.
I'm not sure I understand.
I'm not talking to you, Siri. So now let's see if we can actually track down where this open circuit issue actually is. So a lot of y'all probably seen this in my last video. Had a few comments asking questions about it. It is just a DLC splitter. That's all it is. I don't know if I've got it linked on my Amazon store or not, but before y'all see it, I'll make sure this is linked on my Amazon store so y'all can pick one of these up if you want to. But we're going to use it to basically pull all this out. I'm going to plug it up into here, and I'm going to connect my scan tool to one side, and the other side I'm going to take and put this little resistor in here across 6 and 14 so we can get the network cleaned up enough to where we can actually get some communication with this. I want to do another scan with it and see what modules I can talk to. You can see I just stuck my little resistor in there across the pins. Got that plugged up. Let's see if we can auto vent. Last time I had chopped the vent in here, so we'll see if it'll auto vent at this time. I guess it would help if I turn the key on. Yep, it got it. It pulled it. So we can actually scan this thing now. I'll start the screen recording so y'all don't have to see the glare. I know the glare gets a little annoying. So let's hit the scan, see what we can talk to. So now we can talk to the ECM. And basically what I want to know is, in this network, how many of these modules can I talk to? And where in the diagram do I stop talking? So we can see right now we can't talk to the power steering. No, we can talk to the power steering. We can't talk to the EBCM. I don't know what this PBCM is. The CCM is chassis control module, which this truck might or might not have a chassis control module. And it's not tried to read the HMI yet. So we'll give it a few seconds here. We can talk to the HMI. So EBCM, chassis control module, and whatever this PBC is. That's not something common to me. I don't know what that is yet. We'll find out in just a second when this finishes scanning though. Is that the last module? Yep. PBCM. Oh, parking brake. Well, we've got a foot brake, so we're not going to have communication with that. So I can basically narrow my search down from between the EBCM and the module before that in the diagram. I don't remember what that is, so let me go back and look. So between the EBCM and the power steering, we've got this connector right there. That's a good spot to kind of investigate, because we could have just like a loose terminal or something like that causing an issue, or who knows, this connector could be unplugged. I'm not really sure. We had a lot of codes. I didn't really look to see what the codes were. The codes might help narrow us down, but that's where I want to go now. I want to go to that connector and at least verify that I've got data getting to and out of that connector. All right, so just looking through the component locations. GM's usually pretty good about giving you component locations and stuff, and if you pay attention to the diagrams and know what they call that module, like modules are usually like a K71 or K some number. It really helps searching this document because they sort it by that. So we're looking for connector X182, which is right here. They call it the chassis harness to power steering jumper, and it says it's on the underbody near the power steering rack. And we can click this little link over here on the side and it should take us to a connector view. Yeah, so we're looking for basically a 2-row flat oblong rectangle shaped connector. I'm pretty familiar with this connector. I'm pretty sure I know where that thing is. It's not too bad to get to. If I can climb up here, it is not the one I thought. I was thinking of this connector, but it's probably the one that's on down, like actually on the rack, I guess. Nope, right there it is, hanging right there by itself. It should not be hanging like that. Yeah, let's investigate this. The joys of being mobile. I had to move because there's actually an old dead squirrel over there, and there's all kinds of ants, and I need to get under this thing. So let's get under here. We'll have to get let's get this cover off here, and that harness is like hanging right here. I really enjoy my yoga mat. It comes in handy quite often for stuff like this. Have to come back to that one. Oh, it's gonna come out now. There we go. Sometimes you just need a bigger drill. And what do we see here? That definitely looks like a wiring repair. Bet we're gonna find our issue here. I'll let y'all hang and chill out here. I'm gonna untape this. I mean, it's clearly been repaired, or at least damaged. Might have to go grab me a knife, a razor blade or something. Kind of get into here. Maybe not. Definitely though. Yeah, somebody's definitely soldered wires back together. Look at that. I don't think they soldered wires back together. I think they just twisted wires, put some heat shrink on it, because that came out rather easy. It's not even one of the wires we're worried about. We're worried about blue and white wires, unless they change colors coming down here. Yeah, they're gonna have to change colors coming down here. Most definitely have got to change colors. So I don't have a blue with white. Let's see. Oh yeah, that, I don't know if I have y'all in that in frame or not, but these are just, they're just twisted together. This is not good. Yeah. It looks like we're gonna solder all these wires back together and reevaluate our issue, because regardless of if this is actually our issue or not, this is going to cause an issue. So if you run into something like this where you're tracing a problem and you run into this, stop, tell the customer, you know, this needs to be fixed, and then we'll continue on. Could I have proven that this was the the problem? Absolutely. I could have been back probing here with the scope and stuff, but that doesn't matter. This would still be an issue. I mean, this black wire was already coming out of the thing here, the heat shrink. Like, it just kind of fell apart just untaping this. So this definitely needs to be addressed, and we're going to fix it. Well, just so you guys will believe me, these are soldered up and I've started heat shrinking them all. Figured I'd better show you, that way y'all know that I actually did this. You know, proof and all. Gotta have proof nowadays. We call that CYA, cover your ass. So I'm gonna shrink the rest of these and we'll plug her back up, see what happens. So real quick, we're gonna take and disconnect our scan tool. I'm gonna connect my meter back up, and if I can find my probes, here we go. We're going to check the DLC again just to see if we're back at 60 or if we're still at 120. Let me sit y'all down so I can work my fingers here. Let's see what we have. I'm going to go into, that's pin 16 and pin 60. There we go. I think we're going to be fixed. What is it Eric O says? Check it with your peepers. Look at things. Yeah, sometimes that does go away. And we started right up. We're probably still going to have a lot of messages. Actually, we're not going to have messages. We've got to check engine light though. So let's get the scan tool plugged back up. Don't need the Y cable anymore. We'll let that boot back up, and we'll do another scan, see if that goes away. That transmission noise has also went away also. It's almost like maybe the torque converter drained, the pump drained or something maybe. It's just what it kind of seemed like. It seemed like it didn't have any fluid in it. It was real noisy. We're going to just have ignition on. We're going to, first we're going to rescan the whole truck so that we can clear codes in everything, because I'm sure the EBCM's got codes in it and things like that. Still have no CCM communication, which this truck may not even have it. That'd be chassis control module. It is an optional thing. We don't have trailer brakes, I don't see, and that's usually what the chassis control module is for trailer brakes. And we already know we don't have a parking brake control module because we've got a good old foot brake. So we'll let this finish scanning. We'll do a clear and rescan. We can talk to the EBCM now. You can see we've got 4 codes in that, so. Alright, let's clear. Alright, we got green. Let's cycle the key, crank the truck. We're going to go back one. I just hit the back button. We'll get it to where we can scan again. Just make sure we've got everything green. The check engine light is off. We know the hood's open, but you can see we got no dash lights, no messages. I'm calling this a fix, but we're gonna let this finish scanning. And while it does that, what do you guys think about the channel? Do you guys enjoy all the CAN bus case studies I have? I really enjoy CAN bus diagnostics. I love network troubleshooting. It's one of the ones, that's kind of the thing I really enjoy the most. And you guys always seem to really watch those videos. Those videos usually do really well when it's a CAN bus issue. I think a lot of techs maybe struggle with CAN bus, but it's really just wires, no different than powers and grounds. So that's kind of just how I think about it. And we've got our scan complete. We do have the one radio code, right front audio circuit open. We don't care. I don't care. They need a speaker probably, or it's a broke wire in the door jamb. Either way. We've got green across the board other than the radio. Everything's talking that should be talking. So yeah, I'm calling this a fix. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you've enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Erico, we're coming for you. One of these days we'll catch up there. Maybe, hopefully. So, but anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.